My name is Sensei Lee. I'm a martial artist in the art of American Kenpo karate. I've been studying for 20 years. I've been instructing this art for almost 15 years. I've also been a law enforcement officer. Well, I'm disabled now, but I've been a police officer for 7.5 years before I became disabled. The reason I'm sending your company this DVD is to introduce a product I developed when I was a police officer that's based off of my martial art training, as well as police concepts in their training of subject control and defense. And the product I developed, I have a patent on. It's called the side ring baton. This is the side ring baton. Hold it up vertically. This is the side ring baton. It's patent number 6811493. It was patented in 2004. This baton is an advancement in the short-range batons that police officers carry. As most batons go, the short-range batons like the Baton or the Titan or the Coda baton or whatever, they're good at what they do, except mine has a difference, and I want to make a difference pretty clear. One of them is most batons have two-dimensional striking points, and what that means is this: with a baton, that's with the Baton, the Coda or whatever, the Coda baton or whatever, they have striking points on the ends. Either end is a striking point. They could either impact on this side, impact on that side, that type of stuff with pressure point activation, also joint manipulation, so on and so forth. Mine is different. Mine has 3 zones of striking, has 2 ends. This is the anterior end, posterior end, and also the ring guard itself is a striking part of the tool. To demonstrate, I would show you what makes this baton different. Very good. Okay, the short range baton, if I wanted to strike it, this gentleman, it would be here or here. With the side ring baton, I can strike with the ring here. I can go up this way, down this way, back that way. I have 3 ranges of motion: forward, posterior end, anterior end. So that's what makes this one different. Another difference on the side ring baton is this: any other baton, whether it's a 4-inch baton or a 40-inch baton, like a classical baton, or a PR-24, like the one that's located here, they are not self-retaining. What that means is this. I'll show you with this PR-24 back here. Beautiful weapon. Works very well, but it's not self-retaining. Once you open your hand up, you lose it. With this harness cane, rattan cane, same thing, beautiful weapon. This represents a expandable baton, but once you open your hand, you lose it. With the side ring baton, it's different. Once I open my hand, look, it's still here. That's the difference, one of the differences between these two and those two. The side ring allows me to open my hand up to grab handcuffs, to grab ammunition, to grab OC spray or whatever, to grab my car keys and go. Open my hand, it's still here. Also has a rotational force to it. If I need to use it, I can use it. The third difference in the side ring baton as opposed to the other batons that are laying on the floor is this. Those 2 batons that were laying on the floor are impact instruments. That's all they really are. They're impact instruments. They're designed to hit with blunt force and make contact with the subject to control that subject. This baton is more than that. It is an intercepting and impact baton. Intercepting and impact baton. What that means is, before I go to use the force of impact, I can intercept what my opponent's doing first, which is more important. I don't have to break out the large batons in a public area and let the public see I'm going to use this on somebody and they're filming on the video cameras. I can intercept what the opponent's doing to control them, and then if it needs to turn to impact, I can turn to impact. Okay? So what this does is, from this position here, if I can borrow you one more time. Move this out of the way. Okay. Intercepting means is this: as my opponent reaches up to try to attack me and grab me, right hand, I can intercept it, move it out of the way, and then strike my opponent with that. Okay? Tries to bring his left hand, same thing. Intercept, move it out of the way, and then strike with some kind of shot to control my opponent. Okay? Intercepting is very important. But at the same time, if my opponent would grab, say he grabbed that PR-24, and it's coming at me now I see blunt force coming at me, I can, oops, try to hit that. You don't let your hand. It comes, so it comes. You can intercept that, and I can break his fingers, break his hand with the baton. If you notice, just hold the baton to the side. From here, this is just intercepting. This arm, but if I didn't make an impact, just a flick of the wrist, changes the weapon, and now becomes impact. So you have to take it out of the hand. If that was his wrist, these carpals would be busted by now. He wouldn't be. But if I didn't make an impact, just a flick of the wrist, changes the weapon, and now becomes impact. So you have to take it out of the hand. If that was his wrist, these carpals would be busted by now. He wouldn't be able to use that hand anymore. So the carpals would be busted, he couldn't use them anymore. His fingers would be busted by him with that type of force. So it goes, thank you, sir. It goes from impact baton to intercepting baton back to impact baton. Okay? So those are the three main differences between the siren baton as opposed to the other batons. We can cover here. This next version of the siren baton has a extension on the anterior end of it. It has a 3/4 inch bar across the top of it to activate pressure points. You can see it from the camera here. It's a very effective tool to activate pressure points on the upper body, any part of the human body, mainly the upper body of your opponent as they attempt to choke you, grab you, or whatever. This is mainly developed for women and persons who may not have a whole lot of upper body strength that they need to deal with a 200, 300-pound gorilla who has their hands on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate some of the things it can do just in a more passive way, and then possibly a little more aggressive. So the subject here, we're dealing with just a front grab to my chest. Person grabbing with his right hand, let's pull his left hand back to punch. When the punch comes, go ahead, intercept the punch, move out the way, hook up, lock his hand in, cause him a lot of pain, like so. Make him nice buckle. For 1, 2, grab you again. I see the punch coming. I step back, activate it here. Down to knees, down. Very good. Drop to the ground. Okay. All right. Listen to commands very well. Okay. This man is in the Army. He's in very good shape. He doesn't like to say, "Ow, it hurts." But for the camera, will you tell the camera what do you feel when you put it back there?
Excruciating pain. That's basically about the gist of it.
Does it make you want to continue what you're doing?
No, sir. Once the pain is initiated, I really want to do nothing but submit.
Very good. All right, so we dealt with a grab. Now we can deal with a choke. Give me 2-handed choke from the front. There's 2 ways to apply the technique here. I can go back to the same hand. I can lock it down, lock him in, activate the hand, make him drop, or I can go to him where he's at and activate on his throat. His collarbone, drop him down quick. See how he's moving? I didn't tell him to go down. He's went down. So anyone can do this, male, female, child, or whatever, with the extensions on the baton. As I demonstrated earlier, from the grab here, go here, drop him back. I'm going here, his armpit, hook that in there. Go to his elbow, hook that. Make him bend over, come back around with something else if I want to. Okay? So we have a lot of empty hand applications that we can use. From behind, the person choking from behind. So one arm choke, use your arm, one arm choke. Same thing, I'm definitely in the choke, my voice has changed. I check the arm, go back to the sensitive point, lock it down, change around, boom. If I really want to hurt him, throw a hook to the solar plexus and practice sternum, and then it'll be end of it. Okay? So, a lot of empty hand applications with this. You notice the whole time, I'm not dropping my baton. If for some reason the punch comes and he catches me off guard or whatever, you know, come in, right hand comes, I can accept, smack it out in the air, and just knock it out to the ground. I hit him very lightly because if I hit him harder, his bone would have broke, then this demonstration would be over. But you can see as the punch comes, this is still impacting the top. I can still smack stuff out of the way, tear up body parts, knees, and so on and so forth. Okay? The last thing we have is, with any of these batons, we said that if you open your hand, you lose them. Another thing about these batons is that the bigger ones are too bulky to use at close range, And you have to be close range to deal with a subject who's bringing it out to you. A knife is a close range tool. It's not a long range tool. He can't sit over there and cut me. He can sit over there and shoot me with a gun, but he has to come close range to make contact with my body to cut me. I could use the bigger batons. It's just that they're too bulky. You can't carry them with you to the supermarket. You can't carry it to a drugstore. You can't carry it to the ATM machine when you're out working the ATM machine, so on and so forth. Could you pause that for a second? With a knife being a close range tool, you need a shorter close range weapon to deal with this threat. And in dealing with this threat, we have to be able to either intercept the weapon or impact the weapon. I'll demonstrate both of them. So if my opponent, he's coming at me with a circular slash. He steps forward, we step forward. I can intercept it. There's an impact baton. Boom, break the arm, break the hand, break the back, take that out of his hand. Or, same thing comes, I can intercept, move that way, and bam, disarm. Okay? I'm hit you again. So I hit it, disarm from this point. They go here, pop in the throat, to the kidneys, and come back and do whatever I need to do. Thank you, sir. This baton was developed when I was a police officer because being a police officer, I worked in a small town with one officer on at the time, and that was usually me. And I had very, very little success in having someone cooperate on an arrest. Every time I said something to effect an arrest, I always got some kind of resistance. So this baton helped me make my arrests. It helps me cause compliance to my opponent as quick as possible. Okay. And sir, you can go with me. And he's like, no, he's not going. I grab his hand. He doesn't want to go. He pulls his hand away from me. I reach in and set the hand around him, hook him in the body, and I say, look, don't put your hand behind your back. I will hurt you. He drops his hand behind his back here. Hook him up. Take off the cuffs, cuff him. Hook the back of his hand again. Bring the other hand behind me now. See how he tenses up? Because it hurts. You know, and I cuff him. Okay. So these are the things. These are the things that this baton can do. I'm hoping that you as a manufacturer can see the value of this baton. It's intercepting and it's impacting value, and hopefully we can come to some kind of
inside fighting. You know that when you step into place somebody in arrest, you're at the short range, and if you get resistance at that point, your ass or straight stick baton doesn't do very well in a close knit situation. And then you put the environment. But you know, in any situation that you have to apprehend somebody, the environment is the first thing you've got to deal with, because it's going to control a good percentage of what you do. Mm-hmm. So we like to share that. This is not a martial art tool, by the way. This is not a Tech-Baton or Yawari. It's not of those. This is just something we designed for law enforcement at the short range position. As we know, officers are always present. Verbal command. If your department uses chemical, and they use various types of chemical out to the market today. Also, we go to impact tool and use of force, our firearms, and etc. We're at the point now that we are in a position now that we can start using this as an impact because our department allows us to do it. We're trying to introduce this to law enforcement across the United States. For another way of, we're not trying to add to the utility belt, but we're trying to add to the law enforcement officer. Right. To make his job a little easier. So, as I'm working with Mr. Starr, we can just take a couple things we do. We understand that when I have a person in front of me, they can only do two things. Okay? They can do a straight line or they can do a circle. That's all the body allows them to do. And you got people that do all kinds of sucker punches and all kinds of things. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep myself, okay, and my firearm at a safe, controllable distance. I know that anytime that I have to reach for an opponent, he's going to give me something. Immediately, he's going to give me something. So if I reach for a hand, he's going to give me an elbow. He's going to give me a shoulder. He's going to give me a leg. If he tries to turn and walk away, he'll give me the opposite side of the body. Lots of times. The appropriate way for a basic to hold this impact tool as follows, with a light or non-light version. Ring on the straight shaft, goes on the index finger, close it down and make a fist. I want to be in a proper position. Firearm away from you, hands up, one hand to talk with, direct my opponent in any direction, verbal or physical direction I may to do. I want the other hand for locking, hooking, striking, and blocking. Involved. So from this particular position, for me, I'm now to put my hand on this person and bring it along with me in a come-along type motion. I know if I reach for the shoulder is going to give me a hand, because if I track along that line of the body, track along that line is going to give me something. You got to remember, my hand is doing the majority of the work, but this is going to immediately become an extension of me, and my body becomes a pain amplifier. So I can hook with this, make all kinds of locks like so. I'm doing a hooking motion to bring him into me. I might do a circle and lock that, pull him into a position to take him down. But this is a fine pain amplifier for us to use. Again, this is the very basics, as you can see. All I'm just reaching for the man starts to pull away from whatever. I got a way to hook and use this various ways. Right now, I'm just doing a cross. And take into this and work into the tricep muscle. Okay? Round. And takedown position for me. Always, when I work with my opponent, I would contain the head. Okay? Many of you do this, place the body near the body of the cuff, give verbal commands from, which is fine. Okay? But the foundation is not very well. You need to get on the ground. You need to control the head. Once the head is controlled, you'll get what you want. The pain compliance that I want to use can be various things. I take the one along into the shaft piece and use that as a tricep. Give me that hand, please. They'll give you that hand, but just pain compliance there.
Right.
Right below the elbow, I can do the same thing. They give you manipulation on the fingers. I can do anywhere on the finger. Just press on that, get what I want. As you can see. They're basic come-alongs for you. You can use. If I can use this hand, I can also use this hand to help me do my job.
Hey. Creates a hook.
Again, it's not just a striking tool or an impact tool. It's an assistant for me. It's also an extension of me also. Okay. We're going to talk about a few things that you can do this. One of the things that I like to include in our training is parry or block, you may call it. You know, blocks can come in many configurations. They can be striking motions, they can be redirectional motions, even positional positions that you can do this. Holding the Tech-Baton as far as I showed you, this gives me the long range or short range impact into this thing. I may use to the extension position, and I'm going to do this with a few parries here. As Mr. Starling throws a couple of strikes at the head with me, bring over his. I'm going to parry this impact tool. You can see I'm using a side handle tom or a Nadnock PR24, whichever you use. This is that crap aluminum. But this is an overhead strike coming at me. The reason I picked this particular impact tool is because guys sometimes drop that or get taken away from it in a flight situation, and they're coming at you, and you've got to do something. So he's got my impact tool. He's already estimated force is getting dead now. Hey. And so I know what I do. Really legally, I can, in some places, depending on what he has there, I can use firearm force at that time. But just for sake right now, I'm doing a stepping overhead strike. I wouldn't want to do this. I don't want to take that on. I don't have to do that. I want to take on what holds that. So if I do that out from underneath me, strike across the forearm, it's a raking motion. It's going to do something. I'm going to not give up my gun side. I'm not going to give up my gun side, so I'm not going to step through. I'm going to just step off, move the arms forward, striking. Various different striking points. This is parry, this is strike. So I can do that, or I can extend quickly, pull it out, extend and flip it to the. Well, again, head strikes are not something we will to get into. Now the neck down, most everything we do. Hey. Parry motion. Now I may do this side here. Parry, strike, strike. You see? Let the impact tool do it. Which if you want to do this is quite all right. That's fine. But why not let the impact tool for it? Hey. Do the work. Left-handed guy. Coming to the left-hand side. Do the same thing. Hey.
From these positions, are you able to cuff Mr. Rich?
Yes. I'll just show you parry positions right now for you. Maybe I got low thrust.
Right.
A low thrust. The guy's thrusting into the low and striking. See, same like pain. Striking motion. See his face?
Oh, yeah.
Get your attention because there's a pain.
Oh, yeah, exactly right.
I'm keeping that gun side away from you. Bring you right to you. Now at that time I just used the end piece, short end piece,
Hey.
as a paint pot. You gotta remember one thing. When an impact tool is made out of polycarbon, fiberglass, plastic, various different things, steel, aluminum, aircraft aluminum, whatever. But steel meets flesh, and steel wins. I'm just quoting an instructor in the field out there, Bram Franks. Bram Franks kind of taught that to me. It's something to think about. It makes a lot of sense. When steel meets flesh, steel always wins.
Hey.
So here is such a situation where steel's beating flesh. Again, I'm not taking on an impact tool. I don't want to do this. The guy comes overhead. I don't want to do that because he's going to go right through that. I'm going to move that and strike his arm.
Hey.
To work on it. This left hand, you can see the same thing. Again, I'm doing the same thing here. Cuffing, yes. Let's go. Paint quiet.
Hey.
That's using from the extended position. If I use the normal position, you see overhead, same thing.
How about an activation of pressure points, Mr. Rich? Mandibular triangle, mastoid.
I want to do what we call feeders. I feed particular parts of the body, groups of body, or groups of pressure point areas, or pressure sensitive areas. There's a difference between pressure points and pressure sensitive areas. Points are really hard to hit because they're meridians and there's certain angles. The direction is very important, but pressure sensitive areas are areas that we're very sensitive. I'm worried about this man bringing his left hand at me. I'm talking to him, and out comes that right hand. Okay, so I want to parry that for me. In comes a left hand for me. I've got something to work with. As you can see, the takedown immediately follows that.
Hey.
I'm just doing, again, with parry motions that I have this, because the second one, take that.
Is it?
So slow.
Are you able to keep the contact in your hand, or is it slipping around, or do you have absolute control?
Grip on it, no problem. Pull it right out of my holster. I pick that with a blocking parry motion. In comes the second one, do the same thing. Grab, lock, let's get down with it.
Hey.
For cuffing posture on that. Now I said pressure sensitive area. You can see it comes that right hand. I do this. I want to immediately strike the chest area, or clavicle bone with the short end of the Tech-Baton.
Hey.
I don't have to come around. I'm just going to do naturally what I do. Man comes off my firearm, bang. You can see I can take this person, use it for shielding, or take him down to cuff posture.
Hey.
That's the ball. Here we go. I got a kicker. Got to do a front snap kick at me off that right leg. So if I just move off the side, bang.
Ooh. How's that feel, Dewey? Dewey, look at the camera. How's that feel?
That hurts.
That hurts?
Big flesh.
All right. And that was a strike. That was just a strike to the
inside.
This is the technical baton in its final form. As you can see, it's totally darkened down. It's rubber coated, and extended on the bottom of it for pressure point activation and gum retention. It's approximately 8 inches long, and here's the ring. Here's a few things that the technical baton can do. It's held in this fashion, so on my duty belt, the one I carry, I reach in, I take it up, insert my index finger, I pull it out, it's already ready to go. I can open my hand, it does not drop. And what this does is, in helping with make a rest with somebody, someone I want to arrest, it gives me an advantage of being able to move and manipulate them as needed. So if I can take Derek here, for instance, if I decide I want to take an arm and grab him to arrest him, as I grab his arm and he decides to pull away, as he pulls, I can reach in and I can control at the elbow joint if I choose to. Or I can come back, circle into a joint lock if I want to. If he pulls the arm away anyway, go ahead and pull your arm away. I can come back, strike the solar plexus. I can reach up, strike him with the chin if I want to, turn around, do a head strike around the neck to bring him where I want him to go. I can manipulate him, do another solar plexus strike if I want to control him. This person is in my control most of the time. What I have is as well, if he was a fighter, do you have in a boxing stance? Yeah. What most of us are taught as law enforcement officers, we're taught to parry. So if you're going to punch with his left hand, I'm taught to parry with the front hand, which is good. Empty hand, go ahead and parry, and I can parry, and I can punch back. We can play this game all day. The only problem is we don't want to play the game all day. So what we do with the technical baton is we can come in as the punch comes. I can check the arm. I can come back, take a rib. I can bring the arm back around, break his arm, strike him in the leg, and go on and so forth to control him. Another thing that we have is, as well, it has the ability for gun retention. What I want to do is this. Let me unload my gun first before we go any further. I'm on duty today, so I'm going to unload my gun. Let him take a look at it, make sure it's unloaded. Before we go any further. Here's my gun. Take a look at it. It's unloaded. Okay, I'm going to close the chamber back up. Alright. Problem with gun retention, the Tech-Baton is very good with that. And what it does is, if I'm talking with the subject and he reaches up and wants to grab my gun, he grabs it, he has control, go ahead and pull on it. He can pull, he can take it away from me. If I let him, go ahead and pull. If it was unholstered or whatever, go reach in and pull. He should be able to snatch you right on that one. Okay. Alright, no problem.
I can't, I'm pulling over.
You can, okay. So, what I have is this. Instead of allowing this to happen, he grabs my gun retention. I don't have to wrestle with him. I use the pressure point tip at the end to control him. Now he's mine. He'll walk anywhere I want him to go. I can bring him forth, bring him back. If I'm doing it further, he's going to be in a lot of pain. Spin him back around. Do you want to pull my gun?
Mm-hmm.
No, camera.
No, it's a little bit painful. He ain't got much pressure on it right now.
But if you pull harder, what's going to happen?
It would hurt.
Okay, so I can control him at all times, at least my left hand free for other strikes to the body. To control, I can break his arm from here. I can heel pump him from the side here, pull his head back. I can come back from the gun retention because his mind's off this now. He clear his arm out, come back, strike him throat, get a little pain compliance, talk to him, I can take him down to the ground. Also what I have is for the pressure points around the head, I can activate the mandibular triangle at the side here, tell him to have a seat on the ground, and he will, he loses his balance. All this happens, you okay?
Yeah.
All this happens without me having to work too hard. That's the main thing about the Tech-Baton. If for some reason, we'll get that baton away from me. If for some reason the subject decides he has a weapon of impact that he wants to use against me, this too can be used as an impact baton. Creating a little distance from here. If the subject decided you want to hit me across the collarbone here, go ahead and bring it to you here and hit me across the collarbone. Go ahead. It would incapacitate me. It would drop me. I would have to shoot him. I don't want to do that. So, once I see an impact weapon come up, I change the dimension of the baton to a striking baton dimension now. So before he's able to strike, bring the baton. I can check the baton, bring it down, and now I can break his arm with striking motion. Break his knee, break his